Hey folks, Damon again at blackwarriorlures.com. This is the second in a series on working with polymer clay to make your dodger discs for your trolling flies and casting flies as well. Now, polymer clay is pretty tough stuff. See, it's tough. I fish these things, dragging it all along the rocks, banging up against the rocks, getting hung up in the rocks, pulling them out, and there's just work. I mean, they just dadgum work. They're hard. You know, it works. That's what you want, right? Woolly bugger. It works. It's tough. So how do you make them? You know, you can make these yourself. Now, honestly, I do sell these on blackwarriorlures.com, or actually, it's on my Etsy page, and you can just check out the link down there and that. But how do you make them? You can make them yourself. What you need is some polymer clay, something to cut with, like a cookie cutter of some kind. You need a fondant roller or a cookie roller, baking roller type thing, rolling pin. Something to bake them in, old pie thing, something flat. I use this glass. In my music days, I used to use glass for working with reeds. Those of you who know anything about, if you ever play saxophone or clarinet or oboe or anything like that, you know all about working with reeds, and you need a nice flat surface. So I found this old piece of glass in some of my old music equipment, and I use that. You can use the counter, but it's going to stick. And guys, you don't want to be working this stuff on your wife's counters. You know, it's just you're going to be in the doghouse if you do that, because it does leave a little sticky surface around. Get you a piece of glass like this, dirt cheap, piece of anything. Now, polymer clay. What in the world is polymer clay? There's several brands, but polymer clay is basically plastic clay. It's a kind of clay, a putty. Think of it as Play-Doh. That's a lot Play-Doh for grown-ups. You work it in your hands. The original Sculpey works well. You work it in your hands. It works pretty well. About a little bit stiffer consistency than Play-Doh. And this is the original Sculpey. I've used Sculpey 3. Sculpey 3 is tougher but harder to work. I much prefer the original Sculpey. I usually get it comes in basically two colors, terracotta, as you can see the image of a bowl there, and it comes in white. I usually go with the terracotta simply because, you can paint them. And so I'm getting in more into the airbrushing types of things now. Now this is a terracotta that was made on a crawfish pattern that I have, and you see that makes a nice little tail. See, that's what's so great about it. And I just put little botches of red paint on it, but there you go. This is what you can do with it, and gives it lots of emotion and things like that I've talked about before. But what you want to do is work this stuff. Now if it's freshly made clay, it should work very easily, especially the original. Just take you a little bit, work it around here in your hands, and just until it gets a little softer than that. And see, this is what it looks like here. It comes in a big thick stack. You can buy them in the original Sculpey is the best price point that I've found. You can buy them. You can buy a pack like this for, I don't know, maybe $8. You can buy a case of these for about $50. Maybe if you get on somewhere like dickblick.com, somewhere like that, you can get it for like $35 or something. Or you can buy the big, $120 case of it, like a super case, almost like a pallet or something. But this is 1 pound, about $8. You can get it from a local Hobby Lobby or somebody like that. And what I do is take it in there. You can, after you do it, you can flatten it out a little bit with your hands if you want. Doesn't really matter. Now you take your fondant roller, and here's why I like the fondant roller. You see these little girly things on them? Those are not little girly things. Those are actually spacers and they actually set the thickness of the thing, right? In fact, you could just take this off, and the roller will roll the thing at a uniform thickness so that this won't be all lumpy. If you cut it like this, that's just lame. It'll be all uneven and ugly, right? You don't want uneven and ugly. You want even and pretty. Alright, so you put that on there. I usually go for the thicker. I mean, the truth be told, you don't have to have both of them on there. I mean, just pick the size you want. I only put them both on there because I don't want to lose the other one. I find the thicker one is better. Now, these fondant rollers, you can buy them super big because chefs use them for candy and stuff. And you just take it just like you were rolling out some cookie dough. And it just rolls straight on out, just like that. I'll usually take it out like that, and it will eventually just, and so there you go, just like that. And that's all it takes. Then I'll take my cutters here. This is an old medicine bottle, which has about a 1-inch diameter, interior diameter here. This is a plug for a boat, for an old boat building project that's made out of brass. This is where you put your, you know, your plug in for to keep the boat waterproof, right? To drain water out of it, because no matter, you know, boats always get water in them, no matter what you do. And this is a plug from that. And this is from a rod building. It just had some hot glue for, you know, tip top on the rod, and it's about 1/2 inch. So about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 inch. So you got a little variety. So you just have to kind of look around the house. You can use just about anything. You can use a cookie cutter. You can use a bottle cap. You know, whatever you have around the house. And so just to give you an idea, you just like a cookie cutter, you just put it in there. Bam, done. You know, one size larger. Bam, done. One size larger. Bam, done. I mean, it's just like so simple. You take that, you can either just put it over there when you're done, or you can just, hey, guess what? Come back. Let's see, get it out here, get a good view on it. You know, rework it and cut some more. You can just do this all day long. And then what you do is just take it there, put it in your pie pan. And see, now here's another thing. Sometimes they'll stick like that and you may just lose one. And if you're just not too particular, you can just kind of flatten it back out and put it in there. See, sometimes it sticks like that. And sometimes the best thing to do with that, when it sticks really badly like that, quick trick is to, the best thing to do is to, before you cut it, just before you cut it, turn it over. Dadgummit. Sometimes it just kind of gets stretchy or whatever, which is fine. Turn it over and then cut. Do that small one there, and we'll do the bigger one here. And just see, sometimes that's the best way to do it if it comes out like that. Now these are not perfect, but I'm just doing these for demonstration purposes, right? Okay. And then what you need to do is take this, and you need a punch. So let me go. All right. Here I'm just using a simple pin, stick pin that I use as a bodkin when I'm making my lures and tying my flies. You can use your bodkin if you like. Just you need something. You need a pin or a piece of wire, and just right somewhere about the middle of it, just stick it. Maybe work it out a little bit. You got a little hole there. Now that hole will shrink a little bit through the baking process, but that's okay, because once you thread it onto the hook will it'll be okay. This stuff does give a little bit. It's not like rock hard, but it's actually pretty awesome. And so you just kind of wiggle it out there, opens the hole up just a little bit, and just don't obsess about having it top dead center or whatever. Just put it in there, and there you go. Okay. And what you're going to do, you can make as many of these as you want. You can use a cookie sheet. Word of caution is that once you start baking these things, don't go cooking food in this. So all this equipment, don't go making cookies and candy with this. Okay? once you start using this stuff for this, it's dedicated for this purpose. Okay. You know, I think the stuff is non-toxic, but still, I mean, you know, just because, well, anyway, you know what I'm saying. Just don't be stupid. Okay. Just be smart, be mindful, and just don't cook in it. It's fine, because, you know, I'm sure, guys, I'm sure your wives have some extra pie dishes she'll let you have, or you can just go buy one cheap that's dedicated for the purpose. And I'll just sit here on a Saturday afternoon, make up a whole bunch of these, make up 2-3 dozen of these. Put this in the oven at 275 degrees. Some guys even use a little toaster oven. Some people who do lots of crafts with polymer clay or poly clay. 275 degrees in the oven for 15 minutes per 1/4 inch thickness. Now that's about a 1/4 inch. And so I'll put it in there for 15 minutes and be done with it. So let's go do that, and I'll show you what these come out like. Alright, be right back. Quick tip on cutting these out. When you put them on, give it a good sort of nudge there. It usually will just come on out, you know. Just like if you were baking cookies. And let's get done baking these and show you what it looks like. Out of the oven, into the freezer. Okay, so when you take these out of the oven, throw them into the freezer or the refrigerator for a couple of minutes, and they'll get real hard real fast. See? That's the miracle of polymer clay. You think, look how mushy that is. I mean, and yet, after you put a little heat on it for about 15 minutes, it's hard, you know. We've got a couple more batches here we're going to put in, but just to show you, these are the 3 sizes that we mentioned: the large, the medium here, both of these are medium, and then the small here. And then you can just straight away just put them on the hook after they cool down, put them on the hook, super glue them up, then paint them, and then tie your flies and be off fishing. And that's how that works.